All right, see, what I like to do is try to spark people's interest in reading the Old Testament and getting an understanding. And as you do read the Old Testament, God is going to remove the veil which is upon your eyes, especially like if you already had an introduction into the Bible, because most of our introduction to the Bible is from the New Testament, and then from the New Testament you go into the Old Testament. So you get a New Testament understanding, then you try to use that New Testament understanding and try to apply it to the Old Testament, which is wrong. You can't do that. You're not supposed to do that. But we find ourselves doing that. And a lot of pastors and a lot of people who claim to be knowledgeable of this book we call the Bible make this mistake. So we're about to get a clear understanding of what this Old Testament is trying to reveal to you, and what it's saying, because a lot of people don't even indulge into the Old Testament, you know, or if they do indulge in the Old Testament, just do it on some story level, like the story of Jonah or the story of Moses taking the children of Israel. But like I always like to state, the words of God is only written within the Old Testament. So if you don't know what's in the Old Testament, basically you don't know the words of God and what God is stating to the people. So this is what we're about to, demonstrate right here. All right, let's go.
Psalm 105. O give thanks unto the Lord, call upon his name, make known his deeds among the people, sing unto him, sing psalms unto him, talk ye of all his wondrous works, glory ye in his holy name, let the heart of them rejoice that seek the Lord. Seek the Lord and his strength, seek his face evermore, remember his marvelous works that he hath done, his wonders and the judgments of his mouth. O ye seed of Abraham his servant, ye children of Jacob his chosen, he is the Lord our God, his judgments are in all the earth, he hath remembered his covenant forever, the word which he commanded to 1,000 generations, which covenant he made with Abraham, and his oath unto Isaac, and confirmed the same unto Jacob for a law, and to Israel for an everlasting covenant, saying, Unto thee will I give the land of Canaan, the lot of your inheritance, when they were but a few men in number, yea, very few, and strangers in it. When they went from one nation to another, from one kingdom to another people, he suffered no man to do them wrong, yea, he reproved kings for their sakes, saying, Touch not mine anointed, and do my prophets no harm. Moreover, he called for a famine upon the land. He brake the whole staff of bread. He sent a man before them, even Joseph, who was sold for a servant, whose feet they hurt with fetters. He was laid in iron, until the time that his word came, the word of the Lord tried him. The king sent and loosed him, even the ruler of the people, and let him go free. He made him lord of his house, and ruler of all his substance, to bind his princes at his pleasure, and teach his senators wisdom. Israel also came into Egypt, and Jacob sojourned in the land of Ham. And he increased his people greatly, and made them stronger than their enemies. He turned their heart to hate his people, to deal subtly with his servants. He sent Moses his servant, and Aaron whom he had chosen. They shewed his signs among them, and wonders in the land of Ham. He sent darkness, and made it dark, and they rebelled not against his word. He turned their waters into blood, and slew their fish. Their land brought forth frogs in abundance in the chambers of their kings. He spake, and there came divers sorts of flies and lice in all their coasts. He gave them hail for rain, and flaming fire in their land. He smote their vines also, and their fig trees, and brake the trees of their coasts. He spake, and the locust came, and caterpillars, and that without number, and did eat up all the herbs in their land, and devoured the fruit of their ground. He smote also all the firstborn in their land, the chief of all their strength. He brought them forth also with silver and gold, and there was not one feeble person among their tribes. Egypt was glad when they departed, for the fear of them fell upon them. He spread a cloud for a covering, and fire to give light in the night. The people asked, and he brought quails, and satisfied them with the bread of heaven. He opened the rock, and the waters gushed out. They ran in the dry places like a river. For he remembered his holy promise, and Abraham his servant. And he brought forth his people with joy, and his chosen with gladness, and gave them the lands of the heathen, and they inherited the labor of the people, that they might observe his statutes and keep his laws. Praise ye the Lord.
All right. It say, give thanks unto the Lord, call upon his name, make known his deed among the people. So what I gotta ask you is, what is his name? You know, what is the name we are supposed to make mention of? Alright, we about to go and search this.
Psalm 68, to the chief musician, a psalm or song of David. Let God arise, let his enemies be scattered, let them also that hate him flee before him. As smoke is driven away, so drive them away. As wax melteth before the fire, so let the wicked perish at the presence of God. But let the righteous be glad, let them rejoice before God, yea, let them exceedingly rejoice. Sing unto God, sing praises to his name, extol him that rideth upon the heavens by his name, Yah, and rejoice before him.
Alright, Psalms 68 verse 4 says, sing unto God, sing praises to his name, extol him that rideth upon the heavens by his name, Yah, and rejoice before him. Alright, so Yah is a abbreviation of the name Yahweh, and in our New Testament, in our Old Testament, they translate the name Yahweh to Jehovah. But that is what God stated to Moses, that he will be called for generations. And we shall go over that right now.
Moses said unto God, Behold, when I come unto the children of Israel, and shall say unto them, The God of your fathers hath sent me unto you, and they shall say to me, What is his name? What shall I say unto them? And God said unto Moses, I am that I am. And he said, Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, I am hath sent me unto you. And God said moreover unto Moses, Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, The Lord God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, hath sent me unto you. This is my name forever, and this is my memorial unto all generations.
Okay, we see that, right? We see chapter 15, but most ministers and most pastors will tell you that God's name is I am, because they got the New Testament perspective, and they listen to John, and they read John, and they try to equate what John said in his book and try to purport it to what is written in the Old Testament. So God said, moreover to Moses, thou thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, Jehovah, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob has sent me unto you. This is my name forever, forever. And this is my memorial unto all generations. And I previously said, who do you believe? Do you believe man, or do you believe God? All right, we shall continue.
Hearken unto me, O house of Jacob, and all the remnant of the house of Israel, which are born by me from the belly, which are carried from the womb. And even to your old age I am he, and even to hoar hairs will I carry you. I have made, and I will bear, even I will carry, and will deliver you. To whom will ye liken me, and make me equal, and compare me, that we may be like?
Right, I wanted to point out something real fast. We're gonna continue with this verse in Isaiah chapter 46, verse 13. 3 through 13. But I wanted to point out something real serious. You say, hearken unto me, O house of Jacob, and all the remnant of the house of Israel, which are born by me from the belly, which are carried from the womb, and even to your old age I am he, and even to your hoar hairs will I carry you. I have made, and I will bear, even I will carry, and I will deliver you. To whom will you liken me, and make me equal, and compare me, that we may be like? Okay, so God is asking a question, right? And according to the New Testament, and according to the doctrine of Apostle Paul, which is the doctrine of Christianity, in Philippians, Apostle Paul says that Jesus, right, didn't see that it was robbery to be equal to God. Now, Philippians, in the epistle to the church in Philippi, I believe, missionary journey by Apostle Paul was done way before the book of John was even written. So that was Apostle Paul's doctrine, which was reiterated when you read the Gospel of John. Because when you get to John 1:1, it says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. That's the same kind of understanding which was put forth in Philippians. But we shall continue with Isaiah 46. We're going to go into the verse 6, right? And we're going to see what God say.
They lavish gold out of the bag, and weigh silver in the balance, and hire a goldsmith, and he maketh it a god. They fall down, yea, they worship. They bear him upon the shoulder, they carry him, and set him in his place, and he standeth. From his place shall he not remove. Yea, one shall cry unto him, yet can he not answer, nor save him out of his trouble. Remember this, and shew yourselves men. Bring it again to mind, O ye transgressors. Remember the former things of old, for I am God, and there is none else. I am God, and there is none like me, declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, My counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. Calling a ravenous bird from the east, the man that executeth my counsel from a far country. Yea, I have spoken it. I will also bring it to pass. I have purposed it. I will also do it. Hearken unto me, ye stout-hearted, that are far from righteousness. I bring near my righteousness. It shall not be far off, and my salvation shall not tarry. I will place salvation in Zion, for Israel my glory.
Now you can see that according to the Most High God, there is no other God. It's just Him. He is God alone. Alright? And then we're going to go to verse 10. It says, declaring the ending from the beginning and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, My counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasures. Right? So, what was Apostle Paul talking about in Ephesians and in Romans, and talking about the mystery of God that was hidden since the beginning of the earth? That's why I said you must know what God says in the Old Testament, so you won't be deceived by people who just get up one day and just start preaching. Because, according to Jeremiah 23, that is possible. Let's review Jeremiah 23 real fast, and we shall conclude.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts, Hearken not unto the words of the prophets that prophesy unto you, that make you vain. They speak a vision of their own heart, and not out of the mouth of the Lord.
All right, so according to verse 16, they make you vain. They speak a vision of their own hearts, and not out of the mouth of the Lord. Now, when you go into the New Testament, right, you go into the documents of Apostle Paul, and you read his teaching. You read the teachings of the writer of John, and you read it. Who is speaking? Out of whose mouth is these doctrines coming from? Is God being invoked to the people and to the masses of the people? Is God speaking in any passage that you read in the New Testament? You need to ask yourself a serious question like that. Because when you look at this and all the references to everything that's being stated here, you have nothing but New Testament's doctrine. New Testament. The New Testament cannot reference itself, because the writing of the Apostle Paul can't reference himself. According to what I wrote in Philippians, and according to what I wrote in to the people in Thessalonica, So Apostle Paul is speaking his own words, his own heart, a vision from his own heart's desire, and not out of the mouth of the Most High God, whose name alone is Jehovah, or Yahweh, or Yeveh, But let's continue.
They say still unto them that despise me, the Lord hath said, Ye shall have peace. And they say unto every one that walketh after the imagination of his own heart, No evil shall come upon you. For who hath stood in the counsel of the Lord, and hath perceived and heard his word? Who hath marked his word, and heard it? Behold, a whirlwind of the Lord is gone forth in fury, even a grievous whirlwind. It shall fall grievously upon the head of the wicked. The anger of the Lord shall not return until he have executed, until he have performed the thoughts of his heart. In the latter days ye shall consider it perfectly. I have not sent these prophets, yet they ran. I have not spoken to them, yet they prophesied. But if they had stood in my counsel, and had caused my people to hear my words, then they should have turned them from their evil way, and from the evil of their doings.
Alright, so there you have it. You have people who wake up in the morning and just say, hey, out of their heart's desire, saying God sent them to tell you something. And then God never sent them to say anything, and then they're just speaking out of their heart's desire. But I like and I love what verse 22 says. But if they had stood in my counsel and has caused my people to hear my words, they should have turned them from their evil ways and from the evils of their doings. You know? And people constantly go to church back to back every Sunday and still commit the same follies that they was committing years ago. You know what I mean? So let us have this mind that the Old Testament is very, very valid in our lives to this day. And take your time, you know, relax, and go and see what God is saying in the Old Testament. Maybe you will get enlightened and you know, be able to change some of your patterns, you know. But that's all I wanted to share. We got another one coming up right after this. All right. Have a good day. I want you to have a good day. Just have a good day. I wish you a very good day. Just have a good day. I want you to have a good day. Just have a good day. I wish you a very good day. Just have a good day.